good place to end up, or so you might think, is Wall Street. And that's exactly what I did. And so I went there, and quickly I realized that I'm capable of so much more, because I didn't have a ton of confidence. I wasn't the Craig 2.0 that you speak to here today. And it was at that point, Brad, where I started really understanding and studying the mind and the mindset, and just how powerful it is, and how it could really make or break your life, so to speak. And so I began to study NLP. I studied all sorts of mindset hacks and techniques, and I rebuilt myself, and I rebuilt my confidence. And I basically changed my map of the world. Where I once saw limitation, I began to see a tremendous amount of opportunity. And so by doing this, I was able to have a ton of success on Wall Street. But ultimately, as you can imagine, when it comes to stock market and stuff of that nature, there's a ton of unpredictability. And it brought a lot of stress. And it came to a point where I didn't love the path I was going down. And where I once thought that this would be my 25-year career, I started to second guess myself. And I just wasn't happy. And so after having a ton of success on Wall Street, realizing it was a time to pivot, I did that. And I went into another business, which I still have to this day, where we provided working capital to businesses across the country. Nothing wrong with it. Let me be clear. Very lucrative, not a lot of stress, which was great. But just man to man, between me and you, and for the audience listening, it didn't fuel my fire, Brad. I wasn't waking up on fire for it. I just wasn't. I was giving it my all, don't get me wrong. But it was at this time where I was at my rock bottom. I got out of a long relationship. My father had got diagnosed with cancer. There was just a lot going on, and I wasn't happy, for lack of better words. And so I started channeling this built up fuel and energy that I had, and I like to challenge myself. So I began to run, and it was very humbling when I couldn't run a mile without stopping, because I had always been into weights and stuff like that. I'm pretty active.
Yeah, and you seem so fit. Like, as you are right now, I look at you, I'm like, I don't want to stand next to that guy. I might look like a dwarf.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And I always had pride and made a priority to include fitness into my routine, but running, not so much. And so when I couldn't run a mile without stopping, naturally my addictive personality kicked in, and I ended up running 4 marathons last year, topping out at a PR Philly last year at 3:39, which is really cool. But
wow,
ultimately,
4 marathons.
4 in 1 year. Yes. But Brad, I wasn't going to become a professional runner. This was just an outlet for me. It was a container, if you will, with all this bottled up energy. And so when the pandemic happened, it provided me something I haven't had in a decade, just a moment to kind of reassess. And basically, I know this is going to sound spiritual, but speak to God and just like look for the writing on the wall. And at that moment, I've never been so clear in my entire life. It hit me. It was like, of course, Craig. I've always had an unparalleled ability to communicate with people. People would always gravitate towards me throughout the years just to get inspired because of all my mindset training and NLP and stuff. I've always been very optimistic and very positive, and I know how to revamp the mindset. And people would come to me and I'd inspire them, but I didn't think anything of it. But when the pandemic happened, everything clicked. And I was on a run one day and I said, you know what? I just realized this is not only my passion, it's my purpose. And I can't ignore this. And just like with the marathons and with the business, I just made a decision. And on a run, I thought of my company name, Cultivate Lasting Symphony, which is a play on my initial CLS. And what that means to me is to basically grab that edge in life that just lasts forever, that has you being on fire forever. And I just ran with it. And I began to put out content. And I wasn't exactly sure how the world would respond. You never are. And you always hear all these stories about how people start businesses, they have to rebrand, they hear crickets, no one gravitates towards them. The only thing that I could control, Brad, and this is a promise I made to myself, is I would be authentic, I would be real, and I'd be raw. And I'd show the world exactly who I am. People would either love it or they wouldn't. And I would accept that. But I was going to go out showing the world exactly just who this person is. And I told the world what I was going to do. And I'm very humbled to say that everyone started gravitating towards it. And so I launched a program, my Moonshot Masterpiece Experience. It sold out within an hour. I couldn't believe it.
So I have a question. Like,
sure.
What did you notice when you dove into that authenticity, like that vulnerability? It seems like you're building like all these magical tools for yourself for so long.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it sounded like you just wanted to switch on being the real you, being the authentic you, not the branded, not the boxed like Craig. Like, Yeah. What
Yeah.
was the impact that that made on just your success? That sounded like a mindset switch.
Brad, that's a great question. And I'm not sure if I've ever answered this before, or anyone's ever asked me for it like on a live like this. But the truth of the matter is as you go through life, it's a journey. You're always finding yourself, and you're evolving, and you're finding what gravitates towards you and what you're all about and your values. And ultimately, throughout the years, I was Craig, but I had different identities, right? I was Wall Street Craig, I was Marathon Craig. I wasn't 100% me until the pandemic happened, and I just
Mm,
said, this is what fuels my fire, is to help people, to see that spark come back in them, to light that fire in them, to help them transform. And that was the most vulnerable and authentic moment in my entire life, because I said to myself, I can't guarantee this will be successful, but I can guarantee you this: I've never thought so clearly before, and this is my vision, and this is my purpose, and let's do it. And the power of vulnerability and authenticity is really what drove me to really just dive all in on this.
yeah, that vulnerability, that authenticity. And in that path of, let's call vulnerability and authenticity, who's a mentor? Who is someone that just shined, that said, hey, something I learned in NLP is, who do I get to model myself after so I have their success, right? So I'm curious if you had one person who truly stuck out, and if there's like a resource or the book, just to give a tidbit.
So it's funny because I get asked variations of this question from time to time, because everyone's legitimately interested, who mentored me. And I feel the same way about other people, and I'd love to pick your brain after as well. But the truth of the matter is I'm all for everyone having a mentor, having a coach. But the truth is over the last 10 years, I've really used the world as my playground. When I started studying NLP, I did have a mentor for a couple of years back then when I was on Wall Street, to kind of give me the introduction. And then from there, I kind of took the baton, and, just reading books. And I have about 7 journals on my dining room table. One's for different topics. One's for NLP, one's for law of attraction, one's for Kabbalah, which I got some cool things from. One's just nuggets from books. One's nuggets from movies. I basically get inspiration from everywhere, depending upon what season in life I am. And the truth of the matter is right now, I can tell you that a book that I've been reading lately, actually 2 of them. One is the 48 Laws of Power, which it's a deep book, and I know it's not for everybody, but neither am I. It basically goes back into history lessons and some of the leaders and emperors and conquerors from the past, and how they applied certain tactics and techniques, and how it's still relevant to today. And I just find it very fascinating. And another one that I'm reading right now is The Power of Positive Thinking, which is obviously an oldie but a goodie, just to always remain optimistic and look at the glass half full. And to answer your question in a nutshell, I've had so many different mentors and so many different sources of inspiration, which is why I have so many journals.
That's cool. So pick one. So if you had 10 seconds to pick one of the 48 laws of power that you just love, and why.
So I forgot the exact title, but one of them is a great analogy to chess, and how when you're going to do something epic, or you're an entrepreneur, or you're going to start a new venture, whatever the case may be, to always be thinking 10 moves ahead of everybody else. And you think of the end result, and then you kind of work backwards. And another line that's in that same chapter is this: no days on alert. You're always prepared. You're prepared for every single scenario, every possible outcome, so that when you do face struggles and challenges along your journey, because we all do, no one's immune to that, you'll have a game plan, you'll have a strategy, you'll be able to improvise, if you will. And that always stuck out with me, because I feel like life is a lot like chess, and you should always be planning several moves ahead.
I relate that to hockey. I've been on skates since I was 4, and Wayne Gretzky was known as one of the greatest of all times. And what he said was anticipation. He's like, I just know where the puck's going to go and where the play's going to end up. So I know where to be even before anyone else does. Like
You
thinking
can see
those
the
few
smile
moves
on my
ahead.
face, because I know exactly what you're talking about. I believe the exact quote from Wayne is, I don't skate to where the puck is, I skate to where the puck is going to be.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. I'm getting
Yeah.
excited just thinking about that.
Got it. So in this, now that you're bringing this gift to the world, in mindset, let's hone into the context of entrepreneurship, business, success. It could be their team culture. What is one that you see is holding people back? What is something you come across day in, day out?
What an unbelievable question. Yeah. The answer that I've been seeing a lot as of late is this imposter syndrome. Who am I? What have I done? Who's going to listen to me? Where do I even begin? And stuff of that nature. And a lot of people don't have that confidence that it takes to really take a shot at life. A lot of people have ideas, Brad. A lot of people want to do epic things. They have passions, but they're a little gun shy, for lack of better words, to get started. And I think it's because this imposter syndrome, they question whether people are going to gravitate towards a message, or if they have an authority role, and if people will respect them. And my suggestion to that, and of course I could dive deep into this, I could talk about this for hours, but I'll say this: if you're unfulfilled and you do have an idea, and it does sound promising, and it is something that you feel is your passion, what's worse, taking a shot and putting together a strategy and maybe it'll work, or going down the same path that you're going down with unfulfillment and you're not even happy, and God forbid waking up 6 months later or 6 years later and saying, I should have given that a shot, I probably could have made it work.
It reminds me of Jeff Bezos' regret minimization theory. Like when he didn't know if he was going to quit his corporate job before going to start Amazon. And he thought, 10, 20 years from now, what will I regret not doing?
Yes.
Right.
I'm very familiar.
And, oh man. And what a great, frame that you just brought up. Like, what's harder? What will you regret down the line? Not taking the shot? What's going to be harder, or like actually going for it? And gosh, I remember it was a few years ago, I was actually walking out of a yoga class and someone was talking to me about regret minimization theory. And I'd been thinking about this soulmate that I'd had from years before, and ended because, hey, just pretty bad at communication. Sometimes things end where two people don't mean it. But anyhow, I was like, what a great point. And I'd been thinking about this girl for a little bit, and we started talking again. I'm like, you know what? I would regret not going to take that chance again. Went home, I went to the coffee shop, booked the flight, got on the next flight to San Francisco, and just to go have dinner with her and what's there. But it's fun taking those chances. Yeah. And you're talking about the imposter syndrome. Yeah. It sounds like the imposter syndrome solution is move forward your life. Are you almost like taking them into a timeline, like put it forward?
Almost like. And let me just touch upon what you just said, because I've never said this publicly, but I've been there. And I remember like years ago, before I, revamped my mindset and my confidence and my DNA, I was shy and I was a little bit introvert. And I remember specifically, there was a time where I wanted to approach a pretty girl at like a coffee shop or something. And I psyched myself out and I let the voice in my head control me at that moment. And I'll never let that happen ever again. But I didn't end up approaching her. And then I went home and I just had this awful feeling inside me. I was like, I would have rather approached her and her being like, beat it, than for me to be like, what would have happened if I did? And that really stuck with me, because I made sure that something like that will never happen again.
Yeah. Like we'd rather take, even if they were just being nasty for probably no reason, maybe it's just what they're experiencing with, the next man, but I'd rather have that rather than not knowing.
Yeah.
And it's never ending. Like we still get the anxiety, I think women feel, you still get the anxiety, a little bit of the fear, the things coming up. Oh no, am I going to look too bad? Like, am I looking good? Like we're still just weird human beings looking to do our best. Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is one of my favorite mantras, and it's simple, but it's so effective. Life's too short not to try. At some point, it's going to be it for us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to be here forever. We should be grateful for every opportunity. And if you have one, take a shot.
So are you open to diving, or is there, or what tool, what can you play with? Like, give a little tip, trick, tool, anything you'd love to give to the audience that's out there, just to give them a taste in revamping your mindset.
Okay. So look, I'm not going to give away too much because we want next Thursday to be as epic and spectacular as you can imagine. But I will say this. There's a tool that I learned a long time ago, and it's so simple, but yet so effective. And it has to do with modeling. And essentially, you find somebody that you hold in high regard and someone's attributes that you respect. Doesn't mean that you want to be them. It just means that they're good at something that you'd like to improve upon. And you model them in a very deep level. And I'll give you an example. And I tell my clients this all the time. And I always tell the world this exact story too, is that when I first got to Wall Street and I was shy and I didn't have the confidence, I began to model on a very deep level. And I began to model James Bond, which is goofy because he's a fictional character. But in my head, Brad, when I thought of James Bond, I thought of confidence, swagger, determination, persistence. And those are qualities that at that time, I really needed to improve upon. Because here I was in a boardroom of 200 veteran brokers, and who's this rookie, Craig Siegel? So I began to model him, but it wasn't like this guy's a role model, let me act like him. No, I did this on a very deep level. Like I stepped into James Bond and I literally embodied the way he would walk, the way he would talk, how he would slow his words, very confident, his quality of his thoughts. So like, for example, on a sales call, if somebody said no, who cares? Like you're James Bond, you don't give, you know what I'm saying? You just rebut the objection, on to the next. And everyone started noticing very quickly, like, who's this rookie with the swagger all of a sudden? And truth of the matter is it wasn't like you're faking it till you make it, as some people like to say, or pretending someone you're not. It's just like I said earlier, use the world as your playground. And if there's people out there that have done things that you respect or you'd like to get better in, if you don't use those attributes, the joke's on you. And eventually they'll become second nature to you and they'll rub off on you and you'll become Brad 2.0 or Craig 2.0. But it'll help you develop a tremendous amount of confidence or whatever it is that you're looking to improve upon by modeling on a very deep level somebody you hold in high regard.
So question, did you take it to the point that when people came up to you and be like, what's your name? You're like, Siegel.
That's awesome. I may or may not have introduced myself like that.
Siegel, Craig Siegel.
That's awesome.
So modeling, and it sounds like, what are the attributes that I'm looking to attain? What are these new character types, these new personas, and to find someone who has those and to just take those in bit by bit. And let me think how to frame this next question. Is it's almost like the leading question, but it takes time. I mean, like, how do you support people through this quick fix? Need it now. Crap, I didn't make it, this week. Oh, I still went up and said hi and it failed. Oh, I'm still trying this business idea. Oh, I'm still getting on interviews and I'm fumbling. Oh, how do you get people past, like it's also a process. Yeah. And I know that you're going in for like the deep fixes, like the deep reroutes that's there.
Yeah. Listen, it takes conditioning, Brad. And it's a great question that you asked, because a very trendy word these days is the word pivot, right? It's the cool thing now to pivot and change gears and go somewhere else. But, to that, I say some people want to pivot too early. And I agree with what you just said. You have to condition yourself on a very deep level. What in the world that was really like worth accomplishing and very epic and legendary happened overnight? Really nothing. Just like if you ate once a week, you would starve. If you worked out once a month, your body probably wouldn't look great. You have to condition yourself, and it has to start to become second nature to you. And you really have to work on these techniques and tactics that you have. And once you continue to get comfortable with it, you'll remember to use them in given situations. And then at that point, you'll know that you're comfortable and you've really revamped and rebuilt yourself. But make no mistake about it, just because you have the tools and the tangible, you know, assets to use at your disposal, you have to work at it just like anything else.
Mm. And that's what I appreciate with like experiential learning. It's any emotional gym, like going to the gym again and again and again to work out the body, like to work out the mind. And what I'm hearing from you is the conditioning, like
Yeah.
finding that one little tool, come in, work in the modeling. What could be that one thing? I remember my friend when he was like revamping his energy and his like his posture. Like I'll think about it now. It's funny how we model. He would anytime he'd walk through a doorway, like he'd get back into having a very confident, powerful posture. Next thing you know, it becomes like second nature. But I know where
Yes.
you're going to go. You're actually going into deeper level cuts into the mind, rooting out things
Yeah.
that aren't working for them and retrying. And in that, like, gosh, like just starting this year in a pandemic and the success that you're having with, you know, your coaching, your clients, you know, your business, it's, you think people are just hungry? Like they're hungry for more, they're hungry for something new, a new type of knowledge, a new type of wisdom, because it's like if we all know mindset's so big and like the tools are maybe like the 20%, like the mindset's 80. Are people just craving that wisdom now? And for all generations, like it's not just executive, it's all ages, but you've
You know
so
what it is, Brad?
capitalized on it.
I appreciate you saying that. And I have nothing but gratitude. And thank you so much, my friend. I'm going to go ahead and receive that. What I'll say is this, and I'll say this as humbly as I possibly can. I think that there's a lot of people out there that do mindset work, just like there's a lot of fitness trainers out there, and there's a lot of coaches that help you build your business. But you have to have ability to communicate. You have to get through to people because you know anybody can watch an inspirational video, get excited for a week, and then it fizzles out. But people have to speak to me or see my content or go through my program, and they have to get off the phone or get out of that video and say, that guy just made me want to be better. That guy just kind of lit a fire in me that's been, you know, dim for quite some time. And I want to go ahead and revamp my mindset. I agree with him. There is a better life out there for me. I can alter my perspective. And so I think that one of the reasons why I've been able to be so successful is that people have gravitated towards, and I say this again, this word with such humility, but charisma. And like, there's just something that the way I communicate with them, it seems natural, it seems relatable. And I think people can tell that my heart's in the right place and I legitimately just want to help people. There's no ulterior motive.
Mm-hmm. And you're here to serve.
Yeah.
Like, you know, one, when, you know, Lauren Salon like introduced us, but it was when I was first, you know, let's calling interviewing you for the webinar, or really interviewing each other. Like it's not me
Yes.
interviewing you, it's people are interviewing each other with it. Within 2 minutes of being on the phone with you, I was like, I didn't even have to like talk to Allison. I was like, yeah, this guy's here to serve. He's creating an impact. He's making a difference in the world. And whatever he's got to say, whatever he's up to, like I feel enrolled. And it's just the energy, the authenticity, the power, like the real Craig Siegel. Yeah.
I, I appreciate you saying that so much, my friend. And you know, the truth of the matter is it's ironic that you said we were qualifying each other, right? Because a lot of people have seen the success of CLS, and you know, to the naked eye it looks like an overnight success, but what they don't see right now is the 20-hour days. And you know, look, when you begin something and you're all in and you believe this is your purpose, you work like there's no tomorrow. And that's what I've been doing. And I'll get to a point where, you know, I'll be able to get a little bit more rest, but I have no regret. I'm very grateful to be living in my vision. But also a lot of people
Mm,
have approached me, and like big names and like people that just see the buzz and they want to collaborate with me. But ultimately, just like you were doing to me, I was doing to you. And
mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that I align myself with the right people in terms of character and, you know, what are their values. And I think that's one of the reasons why you and I connected instantly, is because we're cut from a similar cloth, and you're so selfless in your work and you legitimately just want to provide platforms for people to provide value so that people can get better and understand that. And that's what I absolutely love about you too, my friend.
Received. Yeah. One motto that I appreciate bringing into the accelerator is, who's on your bus? Who's on your bus is everything. Colleagues, friends, dating, business, family, and choosing based on character, like what you said. What are your top driving values? What are the top core values that drive you and also that you look for in other people?
So you don't mean specifically clients, you just mean people I like to surround myself with, correct?
Correct. Yeah. I think it's,
Okay.
I think it's all, I think it goes
It's all
across
connected.
all contexts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's true because I've turned a lot of clients down, which is something that someone in the beginning stages probably doesn't do, but it's not about the money for me. I want to be aligned with people that I'm on the same page with. And so you're absolutely right. It is all aligned. And the people that I would like on my bus, or the people I like to surround myself with at this point in my life, because I believe I'm the best version of me that ever existed, but it's nothing compared to what I'm going to be a year from now. But, I've never thought so clear and with purpose and intentional. But the people that I like to surround myself with are, number one, very positive people. I don't like to be around negativity, and I don't like to be around people that gossip. I just don't. And another thing is, like, people have to have a good heart. Like, they have to be doing things for selfless reasons. When someone has an ulterior motive, and you can just kind of feel it. And at this point in my life, I want to be around people that are doing things for the right reasons. That's who I gravitate towards. And this one you probably didn't see coming, but one I just want to add is I like to be around people with great sense of humor, people that can keep me giddy and make me laugh, because I think that's very important in life.
So positivity, selflessness, and humor. Yeah.
Yes.
Fun
Yes.
gets it done is the number 4 in most company cultures that we're in. And it's funny, we got to check in with it every couple of weeks. Sometimes you're just burning
Yeah.
the grind and making everything successful. And all of a sudden you just got to laugh and take a step back to be like, whoa, we need to check into Disneyland or something for a day.
100%. And I just want to add to that list too. And I should have said this one as well. I like to be around ambitious people, people that challenge me, people that think really big, that it's weird. I like to be around those people like you, such a big vision and so excited about what you're looking to accomplish. And, look, success is measured by different ways to different people. And I totally respect that. But I like being around people that like to really push the boundaries of what they're capable of and really enrich and expand their map of the world. That type of stuff just excites me. What can I say?
Yeah. And is that authenticity, that selflessness is, I believe, your primary law of attraction. I believe people see it and feel it. And I believe there's a shift that happened in the world when COVID came, that people are checking in with the relationships with themselves and with others and what really matters. And
absolutely,
my wish is that people take a much higher level of responsibility for what do they want to see in the world, that they're not delegating their vote for someone else to be making these things happen. Like, wow, like now's the time to like just double down on you. Like, why not go with Craig? Why not go double down on yourself in these times? A lot of people might be double downing in the stock market and things like that, but there is no better return on investment that you're ever going to get than putting that money into yourself. Straight up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that return on investment is powerful in just the relationship. Well, I want to ask, I already asked you it, but I'm going to ask the question publicly because I learned it from our dear friend Peter Kirby. What would you like to be acknowledged for today? Actually, you can. How about this month? What would you like to be acknowledged for this month?
I'd like to be acknowledged for this month, both selflessly and selfishly, because this is my purpose, is that all the people's lives that I've been able to touch, whether it be my one-on-one intimate clients or it be the thousands of people that follow me in social media, or really just anyone that's happened to come across my message of CLS, that when they did see me interact or collaborate with someone such as you, or even just put out a quote, something, that they felt some type of way. And what I mean by that is they felt like after reading or seeing me or speaking to me that they legitimately wanted to be a little bit better. And they understood that they deserve to live the life that they desire, because there is such a better life out there for us. And a lot of us have shackles on, whether it be we're carrying around trauma from the past and we're having trouble letting it go, or the pandemic happened and obviously, you know, it put a monkey wrench in a lot of different things. The bottom line is I want people to be able to see my message come across me and realize that we do have potential. There is so much more that we're capable of. There's such a better life out there. And I want them to aim for the stars and just achieve it and go conquer their moonshots. We all deserve to live the best life possible as long as we're doing it for the right reasons.
Wow. To sum up my vision in one sentence, it's taken a while to craft, but it's just awesome moments with amazing people. And it starts with me, like whatever I can do in my life to generate that. And no matter where I go in this world, I hope that I add an awesome moment with some other amazing person. And like you said, lifting in those tidbits. And no matter where you go, where you say your quotes, you walking down the streets in New York, that you're just going to lift people up like that.
Yeah.
Walking ball of energy. That's powerful. Well, one, you're going to be speaking next Thursday, December 17th at 12 p.m. And we got the registration link there. So it's going to fill up. It'll probably fill up by, where we're at Thursday. It'll probably fill up by Friday night, but come register there. And Craig, where can they find you? Like, talk to me about your program, do your plug. Where can they find you and what's next?
So where I hang out the most, I would say, is a couple different places. Instagram at Craig Siegel _CLS. Facebook and the YouTube channel are both Craig Siegel. I have a private group that's very intimate engagement, as you know. Cultivate Lasting Symphony, which is also the same name as my website. And also something that I want to plug right now, which is coming the very first of the year, which I've been working on for quite a long time. It's a secret weapon. I'm so excited. The CLS Experience podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. We're interviewing big names, people that you know, but most importantly, not their success stories. It's the mindset when they were at rock bottom, when they had to push through challenges and overcome obstacles. It's very deep. There's a reason why I call it an experience. Subscribe right now, wherever you listen to podcasts, the CLS Experience.
Wow, what a great common denominator. Like, where were they at rock bottom? Like what were they going through? What was happening? You know, what character did they have to embody in order to make it through? Wow, it's powerful. Well, Craig, this is an awesome interview. And I know you got more coming next Thursday. And I just want to, like, with much gratitude, much thanks, like, your time's valuable, your mindset, your skill set. You have the choice in where to bring it anywhere in the world. And I'm just grateful for this introduction. I'm grateful for Lauren Salon and introducing us. And I'm grateful for what we get to co-create together.
We will 100% manufacture magic together as we did tonight. I love you, buddy. I'm so glad that we crossed paths. This is just the beginning of an unbelievable relationship that will provide a ton of value to the universe. Our collaborations are just getting started. Thank you so much for everything that you do as well, my friend.
Oh, of course, of course. Well, we'll close this down. And once again, this is Brad, and I'm with breakthroughaccelerate.com. And we started a business accelerator, and we're just dedicated to the success of people who have healthy mindsets, win, 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 people who want to make a difference in the world. I just believe money's amazing in the right hands. We get that success going, we get those skill sets going, we get the capital, we get the mentorship, we get the framework. Let's bring it to the people with the right hearts and minds and pay it forward. Powerful ripple effects. I appreciate you, Craig. Love you. Have an amazing night, and we'll chat with you soon.
You as well, my friend.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Boom.
How we do?
Everything seems great. So went onto your page, and we'll see how it shares and rolls out. So yeah, I love free flowing.
Yeah, and,
It's
and
so
I
it's
love
so
talking
easy.
to you, my friend. I love what you're all about. And the truth of the matter is, I could have done this all night, and I appreciate you very much.
Me too. My call it like promoter energy person. I could just sit in the living room conversation the whole evening just to see what it's
Yes.
about.
Yep.
Got it. Anything else? I think I hear like got my older brother and his wife bringing dinner home. So
Yeah. Do your
get to have
thing.
some family. Yeah.
So just real quickly, when me, you, and Allison got on the phone for a conference call this week, I asked you guys about like, having words on the screen, and basically she said that could bore the audience. Just be me and do my thing. So that's totally fine with you.
Absolutely. And if you want words on the screen, have it. Just be 80% you, be 75% you evoking so that they're in this, so that they don't get caught into a,
Yeah.
oh, I need to take these notes. So I'm not saying don't not have them, but if you want to show things and cool little slides is there, bring it. But we don't do death by PowerPoint. We don't
Understood.
get things in the slides. But if you have things
Say
you
no
want to
more.
show and pop up, awesome. Great.
Okay. And
Yeah.
it'll be, I can call on people too, right? Engage the audience.
Absolutely. Like I'd lead with that. It's a very
good.
engaged audience. Like
Good.
they will be hungry to be answering your questions as well as asking questions. Like
Good.
big time.
Good.
Yeah. Don't even think, all you got to do is ask a little question or two in the room will pop.
Done.
Yeah.
We got this.
We totally do.
All right, my man.
All right. Have a good one, Craig.
You too, Brad.